Hello and welcome to Wendell's Guide to Defeating Amber Shaper in Heart of Fear the Hunter. So basically there's a few abilities you gotta look out for. There's three phases, I guess. For the first two phases, what's going to be happening is you're going to have DPS on the boss as your last priority. He's going to do Amber Scalpel on a random player. They just have to kite it around, and while he's casting that, there will be little ads that will spawn. So if you have an ad on you, try to kite it into kind of where I am around there towards the stairs and kill it there. You may be assigned to kill other ads, you may be assigned just to kill your own ads, so it just kind of depends on your raid. Other than that, though, other than killing those ads, if someone gets mind controlled, then it's going to be your job to DPS whoever gets mind controlled. You want to bring them to about 20% and then stop. That way they can get out of being mind controlled. Other than that, you're just DPSing the ads whenever they spawn, and then DPSing whoever gets mind controlled to 20%, and then just going back onto the boss for both phase 1 and phase 2. The only difference between phase 1 and phase 2 is in phase 2, instead of DPSing the Amber Shaper, you will DPS the very large Amber monstrosity that will spawn, which should be spawning any minute now. Yep, there he goes. So the only difference between phase 1 and phase 2 now is instead of going and DPSing the main boss, you're just going to DPS the Amber monstrosity until he's dead. Now, what's going to happen in phase 2 is, as far as how it works, if you're the person who gets mind controlled, the mechanic for that is you'll get mind controlled. You'll end up controlling a mini version of the Amber monstrosity, and what you're going to do is you're going to have 4 abilities. Number 1 will interrupt the boss, as well as apply a debuff to him that will increase the damage he does, and it's stackable. Number 2 will interrupt your own ability. So you're going to either want to interrupt the Amber explosion coming from the boss or the Amber explosion coming from yourself. So you got to know which one's about to be cast. Number 3 will allow you to drink up these pulls, which will regenerate your health bar. And number 4 will get you out of the Amber monstrosity but it only becomes active once you hit 20%. So basically how it will work is, if you get mind controlled, you'll go onto the boss. Whenever he casts Amber explosion, you will want to press 1. It has 6-second cooldown, so until you get good at it, I'd recommend just waiting and only pressing 1 when he's about to cast, or when he starts casting Amber explosion rather. Once you start getting good at it, you can actually press 1 and keep the stacks going on the boss, but until you get good at it, it's more important that you just focus on interrupting the Amber explosion he does. So just save your interrupt for whenever he's casting Amber explosion, number 1 ability. Whenever you're casting Amber explosion, your ad, you need to interrupt that as well by pressing 2. And whenever you're using either of these abilities, you'll lose life, or life/resource bar. Your life is your resource bar, basically. So this phase, you don't want to be drinking any of the puddles, but when you get to the next phase, you will want to drink the puddles. So at this point, no more ads will spawn. Just kill any remaining ads and then stack on the boss and DPS the boss. Eventually, depending on how long this phase goes on, you will want to make sure that you'll probably end up getting mind controlled. I'm actually going to get mind controlled here in a minute. But basically, once you get mind controlled, all you're going to do here then is just spam one whenever you're about to be casting your own Amber explosion. Press 2. You can see my resource / life bar down there in the bottom left. So once that hits about 50%, you want to go and stand in a puddle. There's my Amber explosion. I interrupted it. So you want to go stand in a puddle and then press 3, which will drink that puddle and give you back your resource bar. There's another Amer explosion I interrupt. During this last phase, you don't have to. The boss doesn't have anything to interrupt, so you can just spam your 1 key. But otherwise, during this last phase, just make sure you're still looking out for whenever you're casting Amber explosion, and press 2 when that occurs. But that's pretty much the main part of this fight, is being able to control your ad properly. Once you learn to do that, which it took me a few attempts to do, then you will be very good. So I hope this guide was helpful, and thanks for watching.